Hello there. So today I want to continue talking about One Piece, and I want to finally make the video that I've been saying that I was going to make for, I don't know, a couple of months now. I've been telling this theory to miscellaneous people in person just so that, they kind of like, just a theory I had, so I thought I would tell them because it's probably the most credible one I have, just solely from the information we know. Because the Shanks one I had the other day, yes, it's, there is some credibility to it, but we just don't have any actual information, so it's credible because there's no way to disprove it. This one, on the other hand, I think is an actual good theory, and one that hopefully will actually be heard, understood, and maybe even be correct later on when we find out. This theory is going to be about Tony Chopper and his devil fruit. So, let's get into it. So, before I go over Chopper's devil fruit, let's go over the origin of devil fruits. As we know from couldn't tell you the exact chapter, it's like 10 something. It's when we have Vegapunk and we're on Egghead Island and we see Luffy go Gear 5, and basically Vegapunk is saying, hey, there is no such thing as a rubber fruit, blah blah blah, and then he explains how devil fruits are made. And devil fruits are made by people's will or desire. Basically, back in the day, people would go, I wish to be this, I desire to be that, I will to be this. And as a result, their desire and their will into the universe and into existence or whatever else it may be created the fruit by a nearby fruit, and thus eating it gave you the power. So basically, people back in the day were going, I wish to have the ability of fire, I wish to have the ability of rubber, I wish to do this, or I desire to have, even, in my theory of Joy Boy, it's I desire to see my will later on, which is why he became, a devil fruit. He became the human fruit model Nika, as he is Nika in that theory. But that is essentially how devil fruits are made. You go back in time and you go, all right, I wish I had this, I desire to be that. Now, why do I bring that up with the human fruit? Well, it's kind of odd if back in the day people were desiring to be a human. I mean, after all, the only thing humans really have an advantage on compared to other races is just the fact of our abundance and how, opposable thumbs and stuff. But then in One Piece, you have other races such as the Giants, the Buccaneers, the Long Arm, Long Leg, Long Neck, Three Eye, blah, 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 all these, hundreds of, not hundreds, but all these miscellaneous races that by all means could be better than humans. I mean, a Buccaneer is just a human but bigger. Giants are humans but bigger. You can have longer arms, or you can be, a mink, which gives you a whole lot of benefits. But then, why would there just be this this human, no model, just to become a human? Would it have been somebody back in the day who desired to be a human? Was there an animal who wanted to be human? Was there, a giant who wanted to be smaller, so he ate the human fruit, allowing him to be small enough to blend in with, other society, because giants were seen as odd back in the day? Or, what could it have been? And it doesn't seem like this could have been, a Marine or world government build, due to the fact that, they would have to put it into a weapon, and clearly there is no weapon that is a human fruit other than a robot Aiden became a cyborg, but that's not confirmed or anything like that. For all we know, the first ever entrance of this fruit, of the human fruit, is Chopper, and that's what I want to go over with now. Well, it's about time we got into the meat and potatoes of this theory, the actual Chopper part of Chopper creating his backstory. I want to go over the why first, which in order to go over the why, we need to go over his backstory. As we know of Chopper, he was just a normal reindeer who was getting bullied by his family due to the fact that he had a blue nose. And blue-nosed reindeer are very odd, they're out of the ordinary, and in the animal kingdom, when you have something that, even if it's not actually that big of a difference, and it's something as simple as the color of your nose, which basically made Chopper a shiny Pokemon, shiny Girafarig, or Diglett if you want to be exact, but it basically just made him slightly different, so they ostracized him and kicked him out. So he essentially found the human fruit, which was a mushroom. He ate it accidentally, or maybe on purpose, and this allowed him to become a hybrid human. So, not being a full human in appearance, but having a human-like body, he was able to go and try to go and talk to the humans, but the issue is that he doesn't really look like a human. He has the human frame, sure, 2 arms, 2 legs, bipedal, a head on top, and all this. The issue is that he was also rather large, an upper body, unlike the rest of his body, even though he looked like the dude who turns into a bison there, but I don't know, Dalton. Don't know why they thought he looked so odd, other than the fact that he was kind of hairy, which they had Dalton, who I don't know why they didn't just immediately think of a devil fruit, considering, but they immediately went with, he's a monster. So they had to, attack him. They had to get him out because, by all means, yeah, he did look like a monster. A giant hairy man in the winter area would be the abominable snowman. So they kick him out and start yelling at him, and now he feels even worse because, well, here he is as a reindeer, not being able to fit in with a reindeer because of his appearance, and now he ate the human fruit, which means that he knows what it is, because once you eat the fruit, you know what it is. So he's eating this, and he's going, oh, well, I should be a human, I can interact with you all, I'm like you. But they were saying, no, you're not like us, get out. So now he doesn't fit in anywhere. He doesn't fit in with a reindeer because of his blue nose, and he doesn't fit in with the humans because, look at him. So now he has to go out and, he just has to live now. So now here's his backstory. Here is this all alone, I don't want to necessarily say orphan, but here he is all alone. He meets Dr. Hiriluk after a while, which finally gives him a place to fit in, but even he, after a while, kicks him out, although not for any actual bad reason. It's just because he doesn't want to get too attached, essentially, and that he's dying. So he doesn't want to get too attached and have Chopper become all sad when he dies. And then Chopper goes and finds another mushroom, which, mind you, this is important. We know of 2 mushrooms on this island. We know of just regular mushrooms that appear, and we know of the Amoadake, which is the mushroom that Chopper finds thinking that it's the Panacea, the cure-all fruit, but instead it is unfortunately a super deadly poisonous mushroom that hastens Dr. Hiriluk's death. So, this causes that, and then this will allow for, the concept of Panacea to be out and about, which will come up later on. But for now, as you're seeing it, all of a sudden, Dr. Hiriluk is dead, and now he actually is just a monster. He has no one, and now he is just this corrupted mind who is going to attack them, and if it wasn't for Dalton kind of talking him out of it because of Hiriluk, Chopper probably would have, maybe died, or would have just been a full monster and never would have been able to see what a human would be, what the humans should be like, as so far all he's seen are monsters. He has yet to see a real human outside of Dr. Hiriluk. Dr. Hiriluk was the first human he met. All the people in the village were monsters to him, because he was a human, and all humans should treat each other, right? But no, to him they were monsters because they attacked him in that way. But Dr. Hiriluk took him in and treated him like a normal person. Unfortunately, the only person who treated him and saw him as a human died until Dr. Kureha took him in, and now he has another one, but she also doesn't see him quite as a human, and I don't want to say as a pet, but, she utilizes him in less ways than would be seen as, like how Dr. Hiriluk treated him as an actual child. And yes, she saw him as a son, but not in the same way that Dr. Hiriluk did, at least not until, afterwards when everybody kind of joined, all the Straw Hats came and, really showed the value when she kind of, understood, and, that's when we got to see it. But yeah, he never saw himself as a human, so the entire time that he had the human fruit, he never was a human. He was always a monster, and everybody else was always a monster. And it isn't until Luffy gets there that he can finally feel like a human, that he can finally have the human fruit actually mean a human, as he for once sees other humans and he sees what a real monster is. When he sees how evil and bad Wapol is, he understands that these aren't humans. That's what a monster is. He understands that humans can be good, and that monsters also can be good, and that humans can be bad. Wapol is a human monster who is bad, while Luffy is a monster human who is good. So this lets him understand the difference between being a monster, and being a human and being a human. So this finally allows him to be, Tony Chopper, the human fruit, who made his own devil fruit. Reason for it is because he wanted to fit in. He was a reindeer who didn't fit in because of his appearance, so he got bullied as a result of this. He creates a human fruit, which, mind you, devil fruits always go back to a like-minded fruit, a similar fruit to recreate it. So like the Mero no Mi, the flame fruit that Ace had, when he died, it had to go to an appropriate fruit for it to reappear as, the flame fruit later on in Dressrosa. Let's say that if it was a grapefruit, it couldn't just fly to a banana and become the flame fruit again, because the banana was not the right base fruit. It had to have been a grapefruit or something like a grapefruit. So as a result, it had to find that. So with Tony Chopper's the human fruit being a mushroom, there had to have been mushrooms nearby if it was originally created by someone else, meaning that on their island there also had to have been mushrooms, and coincidentally on Chopper's island there's mushrooms. or just straight outright because he wanted to fit in, and humans being, the ability to fit in, to adapt, to evolve. That's what humans have over all the other races, over minks, long arm, long leg, long neck, 3-eye, giant, buccaneer. What do we have over all of them? We can fit in, we can adapt, we evolve. We can go in with other different types of animals, with other types of ecosystems, climates, all this. A human will naturally adapt and acclimate to it. So that's what Chopper wanted. He wanted to fit in. He wanted to evolve, acclimate, and adapt to his surroundings. He wanted to finally have a family and fit in, but he couldn't just do it as a reindeer. He had to do it as the race that could do it better than any other, the human race. So he became a human, and finally beating Luffy taught him what humans and monsters are, and that it's okay to be a human and a monster at the same time. So that's my thoughts on Chopper creating his devil fruit. Essentially, he wanted to fit in. Humans are really good at fitting in, so he created the devil fruit because the human fruit is a mushroom. His island already is known to have at least 2 types of mushrooms, the one he ate and the Amuadake. Potentially he could even have a third one, as in the backstory there is reference to another mushroom that they're trying to find, which they presumed was the Panacea, although that could also still just be one of the mushrooms that Chopper ate that became the human fruit, and it also could have been the mushroom, the Amuadake, which they also could have been thinking could have been a Panacea, or could have been in some way, as with a lot of our, nowadays medicines, they were originally, we find like the illness or a bad thing of something else, and we just take that and then we kind of neutralize it and becomes, the antidote. Think of like snake venom. You basically get snake venom and then you can dilute it and that becomes the antidote. So potentially that's what the Panacea could have been, was with the Amuadake, except unfortunately it was never going to become that and it kills Hero Luke. But then Chopper becoming a human because of whatever mushroom he ate, which even could have been an Amuadake, but because his will changed it, that's why he could have thought it was a Panacea as well, so on and so on. But basically, mushrooms on his island, human fruit is a mushroom. Humans can fit in really well, and Chopper wants to fit in, so his will creates the mushroom, creates the devil fruit out of a mushroom. He eats it, he now fits in. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this video. I'm just going to say this little thing real quick, kind of throw it out there. I will be making another video on a potential awakening of Chopper's devil fruit, just as I've been, kind of mentioned a few times here with Panacea. Panacea is a Greek god of universal healthcare and medicine, and there's been a lot of clues for whether it's the awakening or him literally being Panacea. There's a lot of evidence and clues I will go over for a whole nother video. But until then, I hope you guys enjoyed. Like, subscribe, follow, and whatever. Until next time, bye guys.